The midterms are really heating up, so we wanted to take a moment to highlight some candidates who are not getting the attention and support they deserve, other than on this show. Like Chris Jones, who is running for governor of Arkansas against Republican former Trump spokesperson Sarah Huckabee Sanders. PB&J is Jones' motto: preschool, broadband, and jobs. While in Kentucky, Charles Booker has already made history as the first black person to be a major party nominee for Senate in his state. Booker is looking to stop his opponent, Tea Party Senator Rand Paul, from winning a third term. In 2020, Paul opposed a bill to make lynching a federal hate crime, something Booker noted in a campaign ad that went viral. Now, warning for our viewers, the following ad contains strong imagery.
In Kentucky, like many states throughout the South, lynching was a tool of terror. It was used to kill hopes for freedom. It was used to kill my ancestors. Now, in a historic victory for our Commonwealth, I have become the first black Kentuckian to receive the Democratic nomination for U.S. Senate. Do we move forward together, or do we let politicians like Rand Paul forever hold us back and drive us apart? In November, we will choose healing.
I am joined now by Chris Jones, the Democratic candidate for Arkansas governor, and Charles Booker, Democratic candidate for the U.S. Senate in Kentucky, and author of From the Hood to the Holler, a story of separate worlds, shared dreams, and the fight for America's future. Thank you both for being here. And you two are making history among a record number of black candidates for higher offices. And just since Reconstruction, voters have elected just 7 black senators and 2 black governors. This year, 16 black candidates, 13 Democrats, and 3 Republicans are major party nominees. So congratulations to both of you for being your party's nominee. Charles, I want to start with you, my friend. That ad was tough, right? But you're in a tough race that is considered an unlikely win for a Democrat, although the governor of your state is a Democrat. Tell me why you ran that ad, and give us your elevator pitch for why you think that you can win in a state like Kentucky.
Well, first of all, it's good to be with you again, Joy. And, you know, I did that ad. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done because we have to tell the story. We have to face our pain and lift up the realities of what we've dealt with so that we can heal together. And my whole campaign has been about humanity. It's been about standing as family, Democrats, Republicans, and independents. And although Kentucky has been counted out, we are often counted out. We are building a historic coalition from the hood to the holler, as I always say, of regular people fighting on our issues. Because as a type 1 diabetic, my insulin doesn't care about my political party. So we have to realize our common bonds and do the work of ending poverty. I'm lifting up that message, and we will beat Rand Paul.
Let me go to you, Chris Jones, on the same thing, and I want to ask you the same question, because what strikes me about the way people think about politics that I think is incorrect is they do write off certain states and say, well, that's a Republican state. But then weird things happen. Like, you know, Kentucky has a Democratic governor and has had 2. The father of the current governor was also governor, was also a Democrat. Arkansas had a really famous Democratic governor. His name was Bill Clinton, right? And so it's not like impossible for Democrats to win statewide in your state. It's not like 1,000 years ago there was a Democrat elected there. So why do you suppose that when sort of national Democrats, the party apparatus, looks at races like yours, and they say, oh, he can't beat Sarah Huckabee Sanders? And so answer that and then tell us why you think you can.
Yeah, well, first of all, it's great to be on and see you again. Good to see my good friend, Senator Booker. Can't wait to celebrate your win. Look, it's for a few reasons. One is because folks misunderstand the structural dynamics. You know, they're looking for the typical factors: how much money you raised, how much your name recognition is, and who are the current elected officials. But what they miss is that you have candidates like Charles Booker who are out there, and myself. We're changing the structural dynamics. We're going everywhere and showing up in places where Democrats have not shown up, places that typically and traditionally have not voted for Republicans in the last few years. We also have taken time to listen to the voters in our state. So I've traveled to all 75 counties in my state, and I've listened to Arkansans. And what I'm hearing, in addition to wanting PB&J, is that they actually want to come together as community, as one Arkansas. And that cuts across whether you voted for Trump before or whether you've been a lifelong Democrat. Folks are saying, I am ready to reject chaos and embrace community. And that's what's going to win over.
You know, and that's interesting because both of you, and I'm very proud to know both of you and have become friendly with both of you guys because you guys are good friends and good people. And, you know, you guys both say the same things, which is that no one ever talks to people way out in the rural counties. They have all these concerns about health care, and they don't really know like where to place those concerns. But when you connect it to politics, they respond, right? Even if you're different from them, even if you're different ideologically or racially. Have you found that, Charles, when you're going out and talking to folks in like rural Kentucky, like in a white area, you were thinking, well, this is a Trump area. When you go and talk to them, what do they say to you?
Well, when I talk to folks across Kentucky about our issues, the challenges that we face, one, we've realized our common bonds, and two, we understand that we have an opportunity to work together. And because I've done this work, we have folks who voted for Trump organizing on the campaign, lifelong Republicans that are working with me. My message is very populist in nature, and so we're galvanizing a lot of folks. And in Kentucky, there is a ballot measure right now to ban all abortion, an amendment that will be on the ballot, and it's galvanizing a lot of people who realize our lives are worth fighting for, and we have to stand together. So we will make history, and I need everyone to go to charlesbooker.org to help us do this work of bringing communities together and uprooting structural racism.
And Chris Jones, same thing, because, in Arkansas, obviously, abortion is a huge issue. It's about a third of, about a third of people say they think it should be easier to get an abortion in the state. That's higher than those who say it should be more difficult. So polling-wise, abortion is important. Is that coming up as you talk to women, even men, in your state about the stakes of this race?
It is one of the things that comes up. And now what I'll say is when I've traveled across the state, I've heard folks of all backgrounds that are saying, I'm concerned about the extremism. I don't want cops coming into my house investigating miscarriages. I want them investigating break-ins. And that's a very deep concern. The other thing is I've traveled to places that are very rural. And I remember speaking to a disabled veteran. His name is Mr. Fault. And white man, disabled veteran, you would never think he would even talk to Chris Jones, especially not if I'm a Democrat. The only thing he said after hearing my message was that when you win, don't forget about me. Because folks everywhere, whether it's in the Delta, when it's predominantly Black, or whether it's in the Ozarks and it's predominantly white, they want to be heard, they want to be seen, and they want to be remembered. And that's what we're doing. And so, I appreciate that we have candidates across the state, the country, that are doing the same thing.
Absolutely. And Chris Jones, by the way, is an astrophysicist. He's like a space guy, right? So he could come on. You see, I resisted asking you questions, nerdy questions about space. I was very disciplined in this moment. So Chris Jones, thank you for being on. I wish you the best of luck. Charles Booker, I wish you the best of luck. Y'all, don't ignore the South. The South is still important, and there are voters there who need change. Thank y'all both very much. All right.